Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastava and welcome to Code with PK. So in this video, we are going to refactor our code, okay, for the game of Tic Tac Toe that we wrote in the previous video, and we are going to use an OOP approach to create this code using multiple classes. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 viewers, only 3 of us subscribed. More than 95% of my audience is not subscribed, and a subscription is very important. So please do subscribe to my channel. So we have a running code for a basic console command line functional tic-tac-toe game that we covered in the previous video, and this works fine. So let me just run this and show. So if I enter the box number where X wants to place the marker, if I say 0, so X goes at position 0, box number 0. And then if I say to O once in box number 2, X in 4, then we have O in 5, and then X at 8, and X will win. Okay. So we will be having the same output of the code, but we are just going to refactor our code into multiple classes because we wrote everything in one single class. The focus was just to get the gameplay right. And in this video, we refactor the code so that we can use it further, okay, to add a GUI both in FX and Java Swing, and then maybe add a computer player that can play against us. Okay. So let's think of the classes we need, right? So if I'm going to say the basic classes we need are, we will definitely need a board class, then we will need a player class, we will need a gameplay class. Okay, we will also try to decouple the input and output, okay, right, as much as possible, right, from the gameplay. And then finally we need just a simple main class, a couple of lines of code in the main, just run the code. Okay, the first thing we need is a board class. Okay, so I'm going to say new class uppercase B board. Okay, this contains everything that has to do with the board. Okay, so this will contain the size, okay, marker X and O. Okay, all these are public constants. Okay, and we will also see at the end of this video how we change the size and the program still works. Okay, so this board is basically your char board. Okay, and in the constructor public board, I create the board as this. Okay, and I set the box numbers. Okay, all right, now let's see what other board functions we have. We have a print board function. Okay, so we copy this as well. Okay, so we have a board that is initialized and we are able to print it. Okay, let me just write a main. Okay, this will be just calling the play function in the gameplay class, and it contains a main. Okay, so all I'm going to do is create a board and test this. So board equal to new board default constructor board dot print. Okay, right, so when I run this main, I get this as the output. Okay, the board is printed. Going back to the board class, let's see what all functions we can use. Okay, check winner is mostly a gameplay method, okay, that takes a board and checks if there is a winner or not. Okay, we can use this function get board is full. Okay, public boolean is board full. Yep, no changes we need to make. All right, we can also have game over is a gameplay method, make move is a player move method. We can have this in the player class, and play is the gameplay method. Okay, so what all functions we will need further in this will be public char get board. Okay, I'll have to return the 2D array that contains the board. All right, so I will not return the original board. Okay, I will create a copy of this board and return it. So I'll say char board copy, okay, equal to new char size into size. Okay, and then I use this nested for. Okay, I say board copy of I comma j is board of I comma j, and return the board copy. Okay, let's go back to our previous code and see what more can we get for the board class. Okay, we can do this validation of the box number. Okay, and we can do placing of the marker as well, right? Okay, that we are placing the marker here, right? Okay, so let's go back and add a method. Okay, so public boolean is valid box number. Okay, in box number Okay, so valid box number is going to be between 0 to size into size minus 1. So return box number is greater than equal to 0 and box number is less than size into size. Okay, then going back to the code again, we check if this box number is empty or not, so we can add that function as well. So public boolean is box number empty. Okay, just to check if this box is occupied or not. Let me increase the font size a little as well. Okay, so this method will return true if this current box number is empty. Okay, so I'll get int I as a box number by size. Okay, int j as box number percent size. Okay, and if board of I comma j is player x, okay, or board of I comma j is player o. Okay, one marker is already there, so return false. Return false because one of the marker is already placed at this location, otherwise you return. Okay, you can add an else like this and place this inside, is the same thing. Okay, then we can add another method, public void place marker. Okay, let's make the return type boolean, so that if placing the marker at this box number and this marker is successful, we return true. If placing this marker at this box number is not successful, we return false. Okay, so if not is box number empty, box number it is not empty, we return false. Okay, otherwise we get the box number like this, I and j. Okay, you place the marker at this box number ij is equal to marker and return. Okay, so these are the board class functions we need. Since we are trying to decouple the input and output, I'm going to take this print out and paste it in another class. I'll say output. Okay, and this will contain a public static void print board. Okay, that takes the 2D array of the board and prints this. Okay, so I'll copy this exact same code, okay, and print this. Okay, so it has to use board dot size, since this is a public static member, board dot size, and board dot size. Okay, and I get rid of this method here. Okay, main will give me an error. Okay, all right, I can instead of this I can say in my from my output class dot print board. Okay, I get board, get board. Okay, and I print, I get the same output. Okay, right. Moving on to the next part, we will need a gameplay. So I'm going to say tic tac toe. I'll make this game because you already have a tic tac toe file, the previous code. This will be the gameplay. All right, now to play the game we need the board. So I'm going to say private board and the players. Okay, in order to play the game we need a board and we need the players. Okay, so public tic tac toe game. Okay, we create a board as board equals to new board. Okay, create the players. So we can create a player class as well. Okay, we'll see how much code can we add to this. So player class basically, okay, will contain the marker for this player x or o. Okay, okay, so I can say private char marker. Okay, and when I create this player I will have to provide a marker. Okay, I cannot create a player without a marker, so this dot marker becomes the marker. Okay, and I will need a getter for the markers. So source generate getter, then setters, I'll say marker get marker. Okay, and we cannot do set marker because once the player has been given an x or an o as a marker, we cannot further change this. Okay, so in my tic-tac-toe game I will need the players private player x. Okay, and private player o. Okay, when you create the players you provide player x equal to new player, the marker from board dot player x, or let me just refactor this to player x marker. Okay, player O marker. Okay, so let's see if we need player X marker and player O marker values, and in tic-tac-toe game we say player X marker. Okay, similarly we create player O as player O marker. Okay, and we also have the current player. Okay, private player, current player. Okay, and since our player X goes first, player X goes first. Okay, so my current player is X. Okay, now this tic-tac-toe game class is supposed to play the game, so I'm going to copy the gameplay function. Okay, this one. Okay, okay, we'll use the game over method, which I also I'm gonna copy from uh, game over method. Where is the game over method? This. Okay, and this will need the check winner method, so I'll copy check winner method as well. Okay, so check winner. Okay, right. So fixing the play method first, so I'm going to say output dot print, and to pass the board we need board dot get board. Okay, so making the move is going to be in the player class now, because the player is supposed to make a move, right? So we'll try to put this code into the player class, and I will add another method, public void change turn, which is supposed to change the turn after each player is done with their turn. So if current player is player X, so in this case it is the object player X, I do player X in the false case, player O in the true case. Okay, using the ternary operator, and instead of saying switch the player change the turn, I use change turn method. Okay, all right, and finally I have to print the winner, or I'll say another method, public void print game result. Okay, copy this, paste it here. Okay, check winner player X, player O. Okay, so we were passing a char player, I'll say player this time. Okay, and you can say char player marker as player dot get marker, and you can say char board is equal to this dot board dot get board. Okay, so this board is a local variable now. Okay, so you can say board array as well. Okay, but since this is going to work in Java, this is fine. Okay, we get a red mark here in this print board, where I have to say print board, just typed. Okay, all right. So instead of this I say print the result. Okay, I'll say print game result. Okay, and yeah, so we have errors here because we are trying to compare a character with a player object. Okay, so we can fix this by changing this to just player to player marker, but currently this is checking for 3 by 3 board only. Okay, because checking for 3 locations. Okay, we have to check for this particular size. So if size changes, we have to check for the changing size. Okay, so for horizontal, rather than hard coding, we'll have to check the entire horizontal row. Okay, so now not hard coding, we have to check for each row I is equal to 0, I is less than size, I plus plus, basically copy this. Okay, and I will consider this row has all the same markers. Okay, considering boolean horizontal win for this row as true. Okay, so if in any row, if for a given row, if any particular column does not have this player marker, it means horizontal win is false. We'll set this horizontal win to false. So for int j equal to 0, j is less than board dot size j plus plus. Okay, so if board of I comma j, okay, is not equal to the player marker, okay, we set horizontal win to false. And once horizontal win is set to false, we cannot set it back to true, so we can use a break. Okay, that I found a non-player marker in this particular row. Okay, so there's no more point checking. Okay, Now if this horizontal win remains true after this for loop, it means we have found a row where all the characters in the row are this player marker. Okay, each column is this player marker. So if horizontal win, okay, return true that this player has won. Okay, there is a row that contains all the same player markers. Okay, this player marker. Okay, similarly we check for vertical. Okay, for vertical we iterate all columns. Okay, so I say the same thing, consider this as same markers. So I say boolean vertical win, vertical win. Okay, now this vertical win is false if any of the rows in the given column will not contain the player marker. The same thing, instead of going through the columns, now we go through the rows. Okay, so if board of ij is not equal to player marker, I set vertical win to false. Okay, and break, because you cannot set vertical win back to true. And if horizontal win, in the previous case you do vertical win and true. Okay, so we checked for horizontal and vertical, checking diagonals now. Okay, so check left diagonal. Okay, now left diagonal is the case where I and j values are equal. So for int I equal to 0, I less than board dot size I plus plus. Okay, if board of I comma j is not equal to player marker I comma I, basically same ij, I say boolean left diagonal win is true. If this is the case, I set this to false. So we assume that left diagonal contains all the same characters. We iterate the left diagonal. If any of the characters is not the player marker, we set left diagonal to false and we break. Okay, finally again the same thing. If left diagonal, we return true. Okay, otherwise we move on to check for the right diagonal. Okay, so left diagonal is checked. Okay, we check right diagonal now. Okay, so I say check right diagonal, check right diagonal. So right diagonal win, right diagonal will is false. So right diagonal is going to be where I plus j equal to n minus 1. Okay, so board of I, you can say int j is equal to board dot size minus I minus 1. Okay, so if board of I comma j is not equal to player maker, we return right diagonal when is false and return we break, and then if finally if it is true, we return true, and finally we return false. Okay, all right, so just generalizing the code that we wrote for a given particular board size, so that when we change the board size to 4, we can see the changes as well. Okay, change to 5 and so on. Okay, so doing this is a little overkill. So if you are given with a if you are given a problem, we just have to code a 3 into 3 board for tic-tac-toe. This all is not needed. Okay, but if you are given to code a board for any size, this will be needed. Okay, all right, so right diagonal, right diagonal, left diagonal, left diagonal, then we have a vertical, vertical. Okay, all right, moving on to this is game over method. So if check winner player x, okay, passing the object now and not the character, player o. Okay, or board is full is now a member of the board class. Okay, and we are done with all errors in this. All right, going back to the gameplay method, let's okay, we should not be having any system.out.println in this. So I'll say uh, uh, public static void print string s, basically just doing sys out and this string. Okay, not using system.out.println directly in our game, we are just decoupling it with another print class. Okay, println and println. Okay, so if I want to maybe change a line here in my tic-tac-toe game, okay, I'll say output.println and pass a blank. Okay, we need to have this make move method now, which I will add in this player class. Okay, so I'll say public int make move. Now this method is responsible for return the box number for this player. Okay, and it takes the board. Okay, that is, take a look at the board and make a move. Okay, so the player should have access to the board. Now let's go back to the make move method in this class, in the original code. So we basically ask the user to enter a box number. Okay, now this is input. We have to decouple input and output. So I'll create a new class to take input. Okay, and this will say public static int get integer input for this string prompt message. Okay, so it is going to do output dot print, okay, this message, okay, right, and read an integer input. Okay, so to read integer from the user, we'll need a scanner class, so which will be a private member of this input class, because this input class is responsible for taking any possible input from the user. For now we just need an input integer. Okay, so I'll say private static final scanner equal to new. I'll have to import java dot scanner, okay, equal to new scanner system dot in. Okay, so we expect the user to print an integer, right? But we will handle the cases if the input is not an integer as well. Okay, so I'll say int input is scanner dot next int, and then we return input. Okay, now cache will contain the exception that can be thrown from the scanner.nextInt method. So if you take your pointer to nextInt, it throws input mismatch, no such element, or illegal state. Okay, illegal state is not possible because we are not closing the scanner. No such element exception is not possible because we will have to type some input. So we catch input mismatch exception. Okay, input mismatch exception. All right, we print output dot println. Okay, invalid input, enter an integer. Okay, and we say return get integer input with the same message. Okay, so we have a function in our input class that is responsible for reading an integer, and this is handling the input. Okay, so let us try to test this input method. So I'm going to say int integer input is input dot get integer input, enter an integer. Okay, and I should be getting this out, input value is plus integer input. Okay, so running this, oh, we are getting this print board. We don't need this, so terminate all. We don't need this. We just need an integer input. Okay, proceed integer, I'll say hello. Okay, oh, it goes into infinite loop. Okay, so maybe what we can do is, instead of reading an integer, I'll say string uh, line. We read a line input, we say scanner dot next line. Okay, then we say input is integer dot parse int line. Okay, int input, and then I return the input. So instead of mismatch exception, I can have number format exception. Okay, NFE. Okay, we don't need this. Okay, let's go back to the main and try to run this again. Okay, so I say hello. All right, invalid integer. Okay, integer say my name again, say 10, input value is 10. Nice. If I say 100, input value is 100. If I say -9, input value is -9. Okay, all right, so my input is working fine. So I will go back to my player class. Okay, all right, getting back to this make move. So this has to get a box number and return it to this tic-tac-toe game, right here. Get the box number here, and here we set the marker at this particular box number. Okay, so I say ask the user to enter a box number. Okay, int box number is equal to input dot get integer input. The input was player, choose the box number. Okay, so I'll say player, current player is the basically marker, choose a box number. Okay, then we make sure this box number is not invalid, so make sure this is a valid box number. Okay, so if not is, so board dot is valid box number, we print a message output dot println. Okay, and the message was for invalid box number was this. Okay, and we recur. I say return make move board. Okay, all right, then I make sure this box number is empty basically. Okay, so if not board dot is box number empty box number, so if this box number is not empty, again I'm going to print a message which was input box already occupied. Okay, so output dot println. Okay, and I recur again. Okay, finally return the box number. Okay, and in my main I get the box number. Okay, and then I place the marker. So placing the marker, I have to pass the board. Placing the marker is board dot place marker box number and marker which is current player dot get marker. Okay, make move, oh, current player dot make move, sorry, current player dot make move. Okay, I can get rid of this. Okay, place the marker. All right, okay, I guess my code is now done, right? So let me go back and run this. So I go back to my main, I don't need this. Okay, I create a TicTacToeGame object, TicTacToeGame equal to new TicTacToeGame. All right, and TicTacToeGame dot play. All right, so running this. Okay, I say 0, then I say box number 2, box number 4, box number 5, box number 8, and player x1. So I will show the board once again before the player is winning. So when I am at my tic-tac-toe game and showing the result, I say output dot print board with board dot get board once again. Okay, so I'll run again. I'll say 0, 2, 4, 5, and 8. Okay, so printing this once again. Let me run this. I'll say 0, 0 again, input box already occupied. 23, box number is invalid. I'll say hello, invalid, enter is integer, box number say 2. Okay, box number 4, uh, box number 4 again, input box already occupied. Box number 20, invalid box number 5. Okay, let's make O win this time. So player X chooses 7, then we have O choosing 8 and player O1. Okay, so let's try to just end the game in a draw this time. So 0, 2, 1, 4, 6, 3, then X is at 5, O is at 7, X is at 8. Game drawn, right? So nobody is the winner. All right, so we were able to create, okay, a refactored code. Okay, so this tic-tac-toe we can comment out now. Okay, we don't need this. All right, now let's try to run this for board size 4. Okay, so we say, oh, so can you tell me why we get this? Okay, we get this because we are initializing. Okay, I'll just terminate this. Okay, we are initializing board as char of 0 plus box number. So 0 to 9 we get characters, but after that we get symbols, right? So we will have to change the way our board is being printed, right? So I comment this, I don't initialize anything. Okay, I keep all of them as blank, and I go back to my main, right, and I will print the board again. Okay, so I will not need this, I will remove this, so I get this. Okay, 4 into 4 nothing, so I'll change my size to 3. Okay, change my size to 3 and print the board. I should get just blanks. Okay, now this is not very intuitive. Now what I want is something like this. So for example, right now our board was 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, I will print my board a little bigger this time. This was one single line, one single line, and one single line. I will add a blank line here, blank line here, and then the row as 0 1 2. Okay, but I'll not say 0 1 2 like this. Okay, I will say 0 in the bottom right corner, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so I was printing each row into one line. I will print each row of this board into 3 lines. Okay, so we print the first line which is blank. Okay, so that we make each row thicker. Then we print the values in this row which is x slash o or slash blank, nothing. And then we print the third row where we indicate the box number. Okay, so basically we have to print, okay, in our output we say print a blank row. Okay, and then after you print each row, print a blank row with the box number. Okay, now this blank row is going to be the same. Okay, system.out.println. Okay, system.out.printf. Okay, I will say percent s blank. Okay, and use the same thing here as well. Okay, let's see how we get the board. Okay, so board is broader now, right? But we don't have these 5 symbols. Okay, so instead of percent s, I use percent 2s. Okay, and a space before and after. Okay, space before and after 2s. Okay, let's see if we make the, okay, we need to add more separators as well, so I will add more separators. Okay, so now it becomes like this, maybe one more separator. Okay, and it becomes like this. Okay, we need to add 5 symbols in our blanks as well. So after every this is printed, we add the same thing. Okay, so all right, we have, this is moving a little forward because we are adding this board ij. Okay, so what we can do is, if board ij, okay, we are not initializing any value in the board, so all default values are going to be 0. So if board ij equal to 0, okay, we print the same thing, we print blank. Okay, else we print the value. Okay, percent 2s blank plus this. All right, now we should get all the columns, right? And we add this for the second blank row separator as well. Okay, we need one more separator, maybe 2 more. Yeah, so we have a better looking 3 into 3 board. Now I will place the box number here, this lower right corner of each box. Okay, so lower right of corner of each box is going to be here. So if board of I comma j equal to 0, okay, else. Okay, now the idea of doing this is, if this is an empty box number, only then we show the box number, right? If there's already an x or o at a box, there is no point showing a box number because that is not going to be used. Okay, so if this is an empty box number, I show the box number. Basically I copy here and paste, otherwise I show blank itself. Okay, I get the box number as int box number is board dot size into I plus j. Okay, and I'll say blank plus box number. Okay, now this has to be in the last 2 parts. Okay, so I remove this and I add 2 spaces. Okay, now when I print this, I get box numbers in the lower right corners. Okay, going back and, okay, running the game again. So not testing the board, running the game. Okay, we get a game drawn. Why? Okay, because I guess if you go to this, game is over is returning false, board is board. Oh, I guess we use digit. Okay, so we will have to fix this. Okay, so we comment this out. So board is not full if any location is empty. And how do I know if a location is empty? If it contains a 0 value. So if board of ij equal to 0, we return false. Okay, and we should have a game running now. Okay, so we have game running now. Now when I say 0, you see I have X here and the board box number disappears. When I have say 4, O is here and the box number disappears. When I have say 3, X is here, box number disappears. I have 1, box is here, box number disappears. I say 1 again, already occupied, 23, invalid box number. And I say 6 and player X1, and this is the final configuration, right? Okay, so I was able to update my print method, okay, my output showboard method, so that we have a box where we can show the character as well, the marker as well, and we can also show the box number. Okay, now the final part is when we try to play it with size 4. Okay, we should have something, right? Okay, we need more markers, right? Now this has to depend upon weight. So basically in output 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so each row is basically 7, so I have to do the same thing again for separators as well. Okay, then system.out.print 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, maybe 8, and then change a line as well. Okay, I will terminate this, run again. Okay, oh, I can maybe have one less. Okay, this looks better now. Okay, so when I say choose the box number, I say 0, X goes to 0, I say 1, then I say 5, then I say 2, then I say 10. Okay, 23 is invalid box number, then I say 11, and then I say 15. So player X1, because it was able to create a diagonal. Let's run this again. I'll say player X is 4, player O is 0, X is 5, O is 1, X is 8, O is 2, X is 12, O is 3, and player O1, because he was able to get a horizontal row. Okay, you can try for vertical as well. You can say 2, I can say 0, 6, 1, 10, 3, and 14. Okay, so player X1. Okay, so we are also able to play a 4x4 game, and our output looks much prettier than before. Okay, what more can we do here in terms of object oriented programming is we can further decouple. For example, we have a game here, right? We can also create a controller that comes out of this tic-tac-toe game. Okay, so game is just playing the game, controller is taking the input, passing it to the game, getting a message from the game, and then passing it to the output. Okay, so the controller is basically managing itself between the game and input and output. Okay, actually controlling everything, right? But that we will see when we add GUI, right? I guess that will be overkill for this case, because we are just trying to learn some object-oriented programming to get this tic-tac-toe game running, right? One last thing you can do, or you should do, okay, you can create test cases. You can say new JUnit test case, or maybe just create a class. We'll add a case there. Okay, I'll say test, say maybe a tic-tac-toe game. Okay, and I will say add test. Okay, public void test, say board, and then you can say add test public void test player. Okay, we really don't have much of code in player, right? So let's just go with a test board, right? And we can import at JUnit5 library, right? Your idea should be trying to test as much as possible, and as you go on creating classes, you should be testing. So I created an entire game and then I'm testing. That's not the idea, right? You should always create a part of the code and then test it and then move on further, right? And this is just to give an introduction how you go about testing this, right? So basically test board as much as you can. So create an empty board. Okay, so I'll say board equal to new board, right? So all locations of this board have to be 0 characters. Okay, so I'll say test if all locations are 0. So I say char board array is board dot get board. Okay, for int I equal to 0, I is less than board dot size I plus plus for int j equal to 0, j is less than board source size j plus plus. So all locations have to be 0, so assert true, okay, that board of I comma j equal to 0 for an empty board. Okay, board array of ij. Now let me run this. Okay, so you see green. Okay, I was able to test. So this test player is empty, it will always be green. So test board is green as well, right? Okay, then you can test board is not full. Okay, so assert false, board dot is board full. Okay, okay, all right. Then you can place markers. Okay, so board dot place marker, say 0, and you place an x. Okay, or you can use board dot player x marker. So you place markers at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You can always use. Okay, so your board basically is like x. This is your board configuration. So obviously board is not full. Okay, again, so it should all work. Okay, then you can test is board board box number empty, right? So assert false, check empty box number. Okay, so assert false, board dot is box number empty 0. Okay, box number 0 is already occupied, so is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this should all be asserting to false. Okay, then you should assert 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are empty. Assert true. Okay, board dot is box number empty 4. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. Okay, all true. Then I place further markers. Okay, on 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 as well. Okay, the kind of marker you play does not matter here. Okay, you can place any marker anywhere. Okay, all right. How the markers are being placed and if there is a winner or not is basically testing the game. Okay, so now when you say assert board is full, it should be true because we have used all locations for a board size 3. Okay, so now you should get assert true, board is full. Okay, and assert false, box number is empty for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Assert false, box number empty, false, 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 because they are all occupied and your board is currently looking like this when you place markers. Okay, so at 4 we have O, 5 we have X, 6 we have O, 7 we have X, and 8 we have O. Okay, all right, so when I run this, all true. Okay, all right, we can test player, but we don't have a lot of this codes, but we can do some basic testing. So you can say player x equal to new player. Okay, x, or you can say board dot player o marker, player board dot player x, board dot player x marker. Okay, assert true. Okay, player x dot get marker is player x marker. Okay, so when I run this board dot player x marker, I run this should be okay. Assert false, assert true, not equal to player o marker. Okay, and when I create a player o, okay, pass it an o marker. Okay, assert true, player x marker is not equal to player o dot get marker. Okay, all right, then you can get the box number. Okay, right, so you can create a board, right, something like this. Okay, and you can place markers. Okay, create a board. Okay, you have already done this testing, we just place the marker. Okay, test, get the box number. Okay, so box number will be, should be between 4 to 8. Okay, so assert true, player x dot make move with this board is greater than equal to, okay, in box number is player dot x dot make move, port number is, box number is greater than equal to 4 and less than equal to 8. Okay, so when I run this, the program takes an input, say hello, invalid I say 34, invalid I say 4, and your test runs fine. Okay, all right. So this was some basic testing. The further testing you can do on this tic-tac-toe game is how you are checking the winners, right? Okay, that all horizontal rows are checked, all vertical rows are checked. You can have boards of various configurations, okay, and you can check. And that is something that you can do when you further decouple this gameplay from the game controller. Okay, not doing that, right? I guess that is an overkill here, right? Okay, so this was the code, right? And I don't need this tic-tac-toe Java file, so I'm gonna delete. Okay, I don't need this. Okay, and this is our second version of tic-tac-toe. Let me just run this one more time, one final time. Okay, I'll say 0 1 4 uh, 5 and 8 and player x1. Okay, so this was the code to play tic-tac-toe game, and we used an object-oriented approach. We just refactored our code and added some code, and we updated the print method as well, added some testing as well. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. You like this video. If you have any doubts, if there's a part you do not understand, please let me know in the comments. In the further videos, we try to add an AI player, a computer player that can play against us. We try to add GUI where we can click buttons on the GUI and play the game, both in Java Swing and Java FX. So please let me know your thoughts about this video in the comments. You can always let me know in the comments if there's a question you want to solve, or if there's a concept you want to discuss. Okay, so please do like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.